At her wedding, I gifted my sister the deed to a fully paid $320,000 condo. She held it up, laughed, and said, "Wrong area. I'm not living in that cheap part of town," in front of 180 guests. I smiled, took her outie, paused her rent transfers, and demanded every cent she owed me. Next morning, a white envelope was at my door. "My name's Robert. I'm 36, a general surgeon, the oldest kid, the emergency contact for everyone, and the guy who answers the phone even when I'm scrubbed in. I live 3 blocks from the hospital because I'm always on call. I drink my coffee cold because it's always cold by the time I get to it. I've paid more family bills than I can remember and told myself it was love, not weakness. My sister, Naomi, is 28. Beautiful, loud, magnetic. The kind of person who orders a latte, takes one sip, and sends it back with a smile that makes the barista apologize for existing. My parents call her sensitive. What they mean is, the rules don't apply. Her wedding was on a Saturday in June. 180 guests. A string quartet. A donut wall. I arrived late because a cholecystectomy went sideways and a patient needed me in PACU. I still made it in time for photos. My tie was crooked. There was chlorhexidine on my sleeve. The photographer told me to relax my shoulders. I tried. I had a gift in a cream envelope inside a black folio. Not cash. Not a check. The deed to a fully paid $320,000 condo. 2 bedrooms. Safe building. 10 minutes from the hospital. I'd closed on it 2 weeks earlier. I didn't put a bow on it because I didn't think a house needed wrapping. At the reception, the DJ cut the music and the MC said, "We'll start with a special gift from the bride's brother." I stood, walked to the mic, looked out at 180 faces, and handed Naomi the folio. My hands didn't shake. I was very proud of that. She slid the deed out, read the address, and, before the hush in the room even settled, tilted the paper toward the chandelier, laughed, and said into the mic, "Wrong area. I'm not living in that cheap part of town." People actually laughed with her, like she'd told a joke. My mother pressed her lips together to hide a smile. My father stared at his glass. The groom, Evan, looked down. I felt heat climb my neck and stop behind my eyes. I heard someone whisper, "Awkward." Naomi lifted the deed higher, as if it were a napkin with a stain. "Rob," she said louder, "was this supposed to be sweet?" I swallowed. The room waited. The string quartet adjusted sheets of music that weren't needed for this scene. "Naomi," I said, trying to keep my voice flat, "congratulations." She rolled her eyes and handed the deed back like it might smudge her manicure. "Next time," she said, "ask." The DJ coughed into his elbow. The MC muttered, "So, speeches." And the room moved on because rooms always move on. I sat. My chair scraped too loud on the floor. And I smiled. Not because it was funny. Because a switch I didn't know existed had just clicked. Here's what nobody at that room knew, unless they were on our family group chat at 2 a.m. When Naomi dropped out of her second grad program, I covered her last semester's balance so it wouldn't go to collections. When her first apartment flooded because she forgot to turn off the bathtub, I paid the deductible. When she signed a lease she couldn't afford, I set up a recurring transfer, $2,150 on the first of every month. It was labeled rent, temporary for 2 years. I bought her an Audi 3 summers ago after she called me crying on the way to my post-call nap. "It's unsafe to drive the Civic," she said, "and Evan says image matters in real estate." I put $20,000 down, kept the loan in my name because she couldn't get approved, and added her to my insurance. She crashed it into a parking lot pillar in month 3. "The pillar jumped," she said and laughed. I increased the coverage. I paid for braces when she said her smile was her brand. I paid for a crown when she bit a cherry pit. I covered her phone after she dropped it off a boat. She called me my human Amex in front of her friends, and everyone laughed like it was cute. I laughed too, because it was easier than explaining how many 2 a.m. appendixes it took to be her Amex. My parents help the way people help with words. "We raised you to be generous," my mother says. "God gave you hands for a reason." What she means is, the bill goes to the oldest. When I push back, she sighs, "You're a surgeon, Robert. Money comes back." When Naomi pushes back, Mom says, "She's still finding herself." There's a photo on my phone of my hand on the scrub sink faucet at 4:41 a.m. The caption says, "Still finding myself." I never sent it. Evan, the groom, told me once over beers that he and Naomi had a vision board. The board had a house in the hills, an outdoor kitchen, and a golden retriever wearing a bandana. When I asked about the part where they saved for a down payment, Naomi waved at the board. Details are the universe's job. My universe is called schedules and bowel perforations and kids with belly pain that is nothing. And then it's everything. My universe is writing notes at midnight, putting in a chest tube at 2, and hearing my name mispronounced by an attending who trained me and still forgets it. My universe is the tiny, quiet moment when a patient squeezes my fingers coming out of anesthesia, and I think, okay, this is why. And then my phone buzzes with, Rob, can you Zelle me $580? My commission falls next week, but at&T is being a tyrant. Or Rob, need $300 for flower wall deposit. Promise I'll pay you after closing. Or, from my mother, we're short for the caterer, you'll cover? No question mark. If you ask how this started, it started the way these things always start. One small favor, then another. Then everyone forgets where the line was. Then your sister sends you a link to a venue and asks, as if she is offering you a treat, do you want to sponsor something nice? Sponsor. Like I'm a brand. 3 months before the wedding, Naomi came over with a Pinterest board and a muffin she didn't eat. I want to live near the action, she said, opening her laptop. But until then, we'll stay in the rental. Can you just keep the rent going? And we need a car upgrade before the honeymoon road trip. The Q8 has massage seats. I was on call. My pager went off twice during that conversation. Each time, she sighed like the beeping was personally insulting. I tried the word no on my tongue. It came out thin. Naomi, I can't keep covering everything. She blinked. You've always said family comes first. You literally cut people open to save them, but you can't wire rent. I looked at the stack of charts on my coffee table. I thought about the med school debt I had finally paid off 2 summers ago by living like a resident 3 years longer than I had to. I thought about the condo one of my interns lost when his landlord raised the rent by $400. I thought about the patient who gave me a drawing of a house with my name on the mailbox after I took out his gallbladder. He colored the mailbox blue. That's when I had the idea. A house is stability. A house is not a handbag. A house can be a boundary disguised as generosity. I found a condo in a good, ordinary neighborhood. Not cheap, not flashy, real. I put it in my name, intending to add Naomi after the wedding. My lawyer said, "You're sure about this?" I said yes and felt something unclench in my jaw. I did not ask Naomi's permission because I was tired of asking permission to do the right thing. I thought she'd cry the good kind of tears. I did not plan for the look she gave me when she read the street name. The look that said I had embarrassed her. 2 nights before the wedding, Naomi texted me at 1:12 a.m. Can you do $3,000 for the open bar upgrade? It's a vibe. I typed no, she sent back a single crying emoji, and then, you're so dramatic. My mother called 5 minutes later. Just send it, she said. Don't ruin her mood. That was the last time I said yes before the deed. At the reception, after she said, wrong area, people moved on because there were speeches to give and beef to plate. But the words didn't move. They hung over our table like a chandelier that had come loose. My mother leaned in. Don't frown, she whispered. You're making it worse. Naomi waved at the florist. Can we put the deed away? It's killing my buzz. Evan looked at me, then at the folio in my hands, then at the floor. He didn't touch his drink. During the toasts, my uncle said I had always been a provider. He meant it as praise. It felt like a job title I hadn't applied for. The best man made a joke about the Audi being Naomi's first love. Everyone laughed. I felt the laugh in my teeth. When the dancing started, Naomi cornered me near the donut wall. Why would you do that without asking? She said. There was frosting on her wrist. That neighborhood is beneath me. Beneath you, I repeated. You know what I mean, she said. Evan's clients will judge. I looked at Evan. He stared at the string lights. We appreciate the thought, he said softly. But we imagined something different. My mother joined, hands clasped, voice sweet. Robert, don't be rigid. You can sell it and help with a down payment somewhere nicer. It's not about money. It's literally about money, I said. Don't make a scene, she hissed. I took my phone out, opened a folder labeled Naomi, and handed it to her. Screenshots, Zelle receipts, insurance payments, the lease with my signature, the Audi loan with my name, the rent transfers, the orthodontist, the crown, the florist deposit from a card she wasn't authorized to use. Each line is small, Sharp fact. Naomi glanced, rolled her eyes, and handed the phone back. So what? You're obsessed with keeping score. No, I said. I kept receipts because I'm a surgeon and we write down what we do. Evan peered over her shoulder as if reading a chart for the first time. His face changed. You've been paying the rent? He asked quietly. Naomi laughed. Don't be naive, babe. Robert likes playing hero. Something clicked again. I looked at Naomi's bouquet. Peonies, white roses, eucalyptus. Expensive. I looked at the Audi in the valet line through the glass. I looked at my sister, who thought the world owed her massage seats. Okay, I said, and I smiled. It was the exact same smile I give an M when a consultant tries to rewrite the op note. Calm. Tidy. Okay, what? She snapped. Okay, I'm done, I said. The rent transfers stop tonight. The Audi keys, please, title and loan are in my name. I'll arrange pickup. And any balance you owe me, we'll settle in writing starting Monday. My mother made a sound like a kettle. You will not embarrass us. You embarrassed yourselves? I said. I looked at the valet through the glass and lifted my hand. He brought the Audi. Naomi clutched her bouquet tighter. Evan said, Naomi. The keys, I said again, calm, like asking for a clamp. Naomi stared, then reached into her tiny purse and slapped the fob into my palm. You're being cruel, she whispered. I'm just being clear, I said. And I have a paper trail. I turned to leave. My mother grabbed my sleeve. You will apologize. For what? I said. For giving a house. For making this about you, she said. I walked out with the Audi fob between my fingers, the deed under my arm, and the strange light feeling of a tourniquet finally released. When I got home after midnight, there was a white envelope on my doormat. No return address. My name in careful block letters. I didn't open the envelope right away. I showered off sweat, champagne spray, and the smell of smoke from the venue's patio heaters. I folded my suit over a chair. I ate the cake slice the caterer had slipped into a clamshell and left on my table like a pity award. It tasted like sugar and drywall. Then I opened the envelope. Inside, a single sheet of paper and a stack of printouts. The top sheet was a note in Evan's handwriting. Robert, this is from me, not Naomi. I didn't know about the rent. I didn't know about the car. I didn't know about any of it. I found these in her email drafts and screenshots. I'm sorry for what happened tonight. I'm not sure I'm going through with this honeymoon. The printouts were texts. Not to me. To my mother. To our aunt. To a florist. Rob will cover it. Just invoice him. He loves to feel needed. There was a list titled Ask Rob, with numbers next to each item. Hair. Makeup. DJ upgrade. Bouquet toss confetti cannons. Audi detailing. A final line. Condo. Maybe if I cry. My hands shook in a way they never do when I hold a scalpel. My phone buzzed. Mom. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. And again. Then Naomi texted. You are sick. You ruined my wedding. Everyone thinks you overreacted. Wait till the hospital hears. Evan texted 10 minutes later. I'm sorry. I didn't know. Are you home? I left the envelope. I'm at my brother's. I put the papers back into the envelope and slid it into a drawer. My pager vibrated. A small bowel obstruction. Life goes on. At 4:35 a.m., between orders and a consult note, I emailed my lawyer. Subject line, family. I attached a spreadsheet I'd been quietly updating for a year. Amounts. Dates. Notes. Please draft repayment agreement with monthly schedule. Also need to transfer car back to me. Title already in my name. And freeze all automatic transfers from my accounts. At 7:10 a.m., I called my bank and terminated the recurring $2,150. I removed Naomi from my insurance. I called the dealership to schedule the Audi pickup and asked them to change the account passwords. I changed the garage code at my condo. By noon, the family group chat was a fireworks show. Aunt Mara. Rob, apologize to your sister. Cousin Leo, it's just money, man. My mother. You are cruel. My father. Return the car. Now. No one said. We're sorry she humiliated you. Not once. I screenshotted the printouts from the envelope. The list called Ask Rob. The messages to vendors to just invoice him. I posted them in the group chat without comment. Typing bubbles. Then silence. At 3 p.m., my hospital's main line paged me. Caller for Dr. Abramson. I picked up. It was my mother. She had found the operator. Robert. she said in the voice she used when I was 8 and had tracked mud in the kitchen. Stop this nonsense. You made a spectacle. You raised a spectacle, I said. You're a doctor, she snapped. Doctors don't fight about money. Doctors go bankrupt all the time, I said. I'm not going to be one of them because my family thinks I print cash in the call room. She tried a different tool. If your father has a heart attack because of this, then he should go to the ER, I said. And he'll get excellent care from a team of professionals who don't accept donut walls as payment. Click. At 7 p.m., Evan texted again. I told Naomi I'm postponing the honeymoon. She's at your parents'. She says you stole the car. She's posting on Instagram. I opened Instagram. Naomi had posted a story, a photo of the Audi with the caption, "He took my wedding getaway car because he's a bitter little man." I screenshotted the registration in my name and sent it to her. She posted another story. "He's harassing me." Comments flooded in. Hearts. Fire emojis. "You deserve better, queen." I put my phone face down. I made pasta. I watched it boil. I thought about the moment at the mic when she laughed and how fast the room joined her. How easy it is to laugh when you think the person you're laughing at will still pay the bill. The next morning, there was another white envelope on my doormat. Same careful block letters. Inside, a letter from Naomi's lawyer demanding I return the stolen vehicle and make whole a $50,000 wedding gift shortfall. The letterhead was a Google Doc template. The signature was a squiggle. The return address was my parents' house. I laughed. Not nicely. I replied with a real lawyer's letter by lunchtime. It was short and boring in the way that scares people. Dates, amounts, statutes, words like conversion and unjust enrichment. It included a repayment schedule, $1,000 on the first of every month until the debt was gone. It gave her 30 days to sign or we'd see each other at a courthouse where Instagram captions don't count. At 2 p.m., Evan showed up at my door. He looked like he hadn't slept. He handed me Naomi's house key. She gave me an ultimatum, he said. Either I defend her or I'm not a man. I don't think I'm her kind of man. I made coffee. He didn't drink it. He stared at the envelope on my table. I didn't know, he kept saying. I thought you liked it. Liked what? I asked. Taking care of her, he said. I like taking care of people who want to take care of themselves too, I said. Those are different things. He nodded. I'm sorry. You don't owe me an apology, I said. But you do owe yourself a line. He looked at the floor. I think I found it. That night, my mother called from Naomi's phone. Return the car, send the money, and we'll forget this. We won't forget it, I said. But I will move on. Without your family? She asked, horrified. I thought of the lights. The quiet in the hospital at 3 a.m. The intern who brings me bad coffee and says, "You okay?" The nurse who leaves a granola bar on my desk when I forget to eat. The security guard who nods at me when I walk to my car at dawn. Yes, I said. With my family. A month later, the condo in the cheap part of town is rented to a pediatric nurse and her partner. They put a plant on the balcony and send me a photo of the sunset like I've never seen that angle of light. They pay on time. They love the quiet hallways and the grocery store across the street. They tell me the landlord answers texts fast. He does. The Audi sits in my garage. I drive it on Sundays to keep the battery alive. It's ridiculous and smooth and smells like Naomi's coconut perfume no matter how many times I clean the mats. I'll sell it when the title transfer is tidy. For now, it is a trophy I don't want but also don't mind looking at. Naomi didn't sign the repayment plan in 30 days. My lawyer filed, and suddenly her tone changed. The ring photos stopped. The stories went private. Evan moved into his brother's spare room. He sent me a screenshot last week. I'm paying my half, he wrote. Even if we don't end up married. It's mine too. His half is $200 a month. He labeled it Debt E. I didn't ask. He did it anyway. A line. My parents haven't visited. They sent a message through Aunt Mara. We will reconcile when you remember who you are. I looked in a mirror after a 12-hour day, wiped a streak of betadine off my cheek, and said out loud, I remember. In the hospital, nothing changed and everything did. Appendixes still burst. Teenagers still come in with pain that is nothing until it isn't. I still chart until my hand cramps. I still lose patience and sit in my car afterward staring at a steering wheel I can't make move. But the background hum, the one that said I owed the world a piece of my paycheck because I had letters after my name, went quiet. I clean my apartment now on Sundays. I cook badly and perfectly for one. I turn my phone off sometimes. I walk to the farmer's market. The woman who sells peaches calls me doctor with the tired eyes and gives me one extra peach on days when I look like a person who needs a small sweet thing. I do. Last weekend, a resident asked me how to say no to a family that keeps pulling. She stood in the doorway twisting a pen, brave enough to practice surgery, scared to say a word. You say it once, I told her, and mean it. Then you say it again when they pretend they didn't hear. Does it get easier? She asked. No, I said. But you get stronger. She nodded, wrote that down like it was a pharmacology dose, and left to put in a consult. I stood in the call room looking at the whiteboard where someone had drawn a lopsided heart around the word team. Sometimes I think about the moment Naomi held the deed up to the chandelier light and laughed. It still stings. Not because of the money, because of the message. You are not enough unless you hand me more. That message lived in my chest for 36 years. I evicted it. The moral isn't fancy. It's not Instagrammable. It's this. I won't let anyone treat my kindness like an ATM ever again. I won't pay for my place at a family table. I won't confuse silence for peace. I will not be a walking credit line with a stethoscope. Yesterday, a white envelope showed up again. My stomach dipped. I picked it up like it might bite. Inside, a single note in Naomi's handwriting. I can't believe you're doing this to me. Mom says you'll cave eventually. No apology. No signature. I put the note in the drawer with the other papers. I made coffee. I set my phone to do not disturb. I opened the windows. The city air came in warm and a little dirty. It smelled like summer and cars and possibility. Then I walked to the hospital with steady hands, grateful for the work that tells me who I am when people try to tell me something else. And when my pager buzzed, I didn't think about wedding speeches or donut walls. I thought about the quiet moment after anesthesia when a patient squeezes my fingers and I squeeze back, and we both understand what I'm here to do. I am here to cut, to mend, to refuse what breaks me, and to keep what keeps me whole. And that includes my money, my keys, my time, and my name.